Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Coco and the Sun podcast. I am your host, Malika Crystal. Very blessed to be here today. And we're going to continue with the Magdalene Manuscript. The alchemy of relationship is what we're going to read today. Before we start, one woman's story, which is Judy Silent's story. So we're going to do the alchemy of relationship. What can I say? What can I say? I have I don't know. I don't know what the any updates, any insights. I mean, more personal insights. I think I'm aware of something I'm clearing. I've been aware of it for a while, so I thought it was progressing. I'm not so sure if it's progressing as much as I thought it was. So one of the blocks I think I have that I need to clear is being judgmental. And so I understand this would clear the more that I'm less judgmental to myself and accept myself, this will allow for me to be less judgmental with others. I did not think I was so judgmental with others, but I've been having dreams that let me know something's going on here. So I'm working on that. So I'm acknowledging it. I'm aware of it. I know where it comes from and why it's there. It's based on past experiences in my own life and my own messages that I internalized from others, but they judged me, and then I judged others based on that to make myself feel better. And I acknowledge that it's nothing I need to be ashamed of, but I need to be more love to myself so that I can be less judgmental, more accepting, so I can be that for other people. So I'm aware of it. I'm not othering it, trying to see it for what it is, accept it, and transmute it to love. It's not going as fast as I thought it was. So I'm not clearing as much as I thought I was with that, because the dreams are letting me know, girl, girl, girl. I'm curious to see once I get past it, though, what opens up, because, once you get past blocks, then you open up for more love to fill in, and then I would think there's more connection and more guidance. So that's what I'm working on. If anyone has any suggestions on how to move past judgmental aspects of oneself, that would be greatly appreciated if you could share with me in the comments or something. But that's what I'm working on. I do see the dreams let me know that I am progressing in some aspects, and they are letting me know more of what my gifts are. I don't know how so you can know, yeah, what your gifts are, like, from the dreams, the symbolism in the dreams. I'm basing it off of the Isling Dictionary, Dream Interpreter Dictionary, which is free to download if you want to. But yeah, you can just go on their website and look for or just Google. I went to Google them, but Isling, Aisling, Dream Interpretation Dictionary, and it takes you to the page, and you can download it for free. But you can also just go to the page, and I think the Dream Dictionary is on there, and you can just look for whatever symbols you had in your dreams. Anyway, I think since my divine team, like I like to call them, know that I am looking at that Dream Dictionary now, the dreams do seem to somehow, most times, not a lot of times, a lot of times they send me dreams within my own context based on my own experiences to let me know. And they'll let me know sometimes what it means in the dream. But sometimes I don't know, it'll be like a really wild dream with a lot of stuff that occurs, and a lot of stuff I can find the answers for in that dictionary. So I think that they know that I'm using that dictionary now, because I didn't used to have all these particular type of dreams with all this information before. There used to be more like little things they would tell me piece by piece so that I would get it in a way that I would understand it. But I think now that they know that I'm using this dictionary, they're giving me more a more loaded sandwich, a more loaded dream with more information to kind of help me get like where I'm doing well, what my gifts are, what I'm working on, what I need to improve on, and stuff like that. It's like the dreams contain a lot of information now, whereas before they may have contained a good amount of information, but it just seems way more now because they know that I'm using this book, I think. So I think they do try to reach you in a way that you understand, and that will be adjusted as the different things that you're into. I think so. It feels like that, which really feels really good and specific. But yeah, they will reach you wherever you can reach you. So even if you're having the dreams and you're not using that book, then you would have an understanding of what it means personally for you in some way or somehow that you know, whether it's a video or you just know from some past life experience or that past experience you had in this life, what that means to you specifically. It'll come to you that way. So they just use whatever you use. They use whatever you use to talk to you. So yeah, a lot more information is coming in and clarifying. And they do show me when I'm improving on certain aspects. And then they also show me things that I need to improve on, like the judgmental thing. And the gifts. So they don't show me how my gifts works specifically for me, but they will tell me that I am this, like I have this potential, which is kind of good because I wasn't getting that before. I wasn't understanding. So it's kind of cool to know what aspects I have or potential gifts I could develop. Or maybe I have it now, I just don't know how to use it. I don't know. So it's kind of cool. So I kind of like that. But yeah, the dream dictionary is helping. Sometimes it doesn't mean the same thing for me. I know when it's different. Like I'll be like, I don't think that's what it means for me. I think it's trying to tell me something else. So again, listen to your own guidance, etc., etc., because you are your own guru. I got that a lot. Not that I'm my own guru, but that my path reveals itself to me. And it's okay if I have help along the path. The help will be placed there in order to help me along the path if it does. But if it doesn't, I am perfectly capable of, with my divine team, getting through or covering my journey. And it'll be specific to me. Also understood that I can allow the path to be revealed to me. I can intend for it so that it's known that I want to find it, but I don't have to seek it that hard. Like it'll show up. It wants me to find it. It wants to show me the way. Like it's my path, so it wants me on it. So yeah, I got that support. Like it's okay to seek it. That's fun too. But also to allow it to come up and show me what it is, just allow it to reveal itself. So understood today too, my own understanding. This is not what everybody doesn't have to be, everybody didn't come to the same experience. But remember I was struggling with the soul prosperity thing and wanting to have a harmonious relationship with my human self and my soul aspects, and I didn't want what my human self wanted to experience in this lifetime, to be pushed aside by only what my soul wants. And then I came to the understanding that my soul prosperity includes all aspects, including my human wants, and it would be included in a way more expansive way than I could even fathom. And I had talked about Tabitha Brown being the example that they showed me of what it means to surrender to your soul prosperity. And then today I was in the shower, because I told you that's one of the places I get understanding and clarity. I was in the shower and I understood that all my previous human lifetimes, it was human and ego led. And so why not have one lifetime just to see what would happen if my soul led the human aspect? Yeah, I think I want to see what that is. I'd like to experience that and see what that is. So yeah, I'm at peace with it. I just want to see what the soul prosperity brings, what surprises it shows me, what joys it brings me that I didn't expect. What joys, what fulfillment, what wholeness, what love, what compassion, what experiences, what interactions, what revelations. It shows me that I did not expect that I experienced. Woo! So ready, so happy to surrender to my soul and see where the journey goes. Anyway, so that's where I'm at today. Do you want me to show you how to get the book? Let me see if I can show you how to get the dictionary so you can download it. So okay, let me share my screen with you. Share your screen. Okay, so this is my screen I'm sharing. In Google, I put Aisling, AISLING, Dream Dictionary. It's the first thing that comes up, Aisling A to Z Dream Dictionary of Symbols. And I click on it, and you see here, well, that's something they have signed up. But you can download it here, download free dictionary. But also, they have, I don't know if this is updated or not, but they have a lot of information here about the symbols, and you can click on the letter and search for what you're looking for. So just wanted to let you guys know in case you guys are interested in using their dream analysis. I realize dream analysis do differ. And it's fine if you Google, they have different websites that have different meanings or similar meanings. This one seems pretty precise and on point, but I think that, again, your divine team, your guides, or your angels, your teachers, ascended math, whatever you want to call them, would use whatever you use to get messages to you, because what's important is you understand and get the message. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. It doesn't mean one way is better than the other. They'll use what you use so that you understand. But I think since I've been using this, been curious about it, but it came across, I think, to me from them. I had never heard of this guy before. And Tucker mentioned him, then I still didn't take it on. Came across a few months later on my YouTube, his podcast with Dream Interpretation. Somehow was intrigued with it. Went on to look at the website. Oh, he mentioned the free dictionary. So I went on the website to look at the free dictionary. And he also had mentioned that Zoom meeting. So I had checked out the Zoom meeting. So I think everything happens the way it's supposed to happen for you. This came into my experience. I think that's the reason why. And I think they're helping me to understand what I need to understand to progress using this resource. But it's not the only resource they use. It doesn't always mean the same thing. But it seems to be helping me a lot more. And my dreams do seem to be more packed with information for me. Also, I have been, I told you, asking Jesus to help me clear and heal whatever I need to clear and heal, to step into my soul prosperity, to step into the life that I want, the reality with the highest outcomes for me. So that also, when I started doing that, I think the dreams upped to me. This they kind of upped the ante. It seemed like they were like, okay, you want to clear? Let's clear. Let's clear. Because I remember before saying, I want to clear, slow, gentle integration, which I still enjoy and I still want. But now I say, I ask Jesus to help me clear. I ask all my guides and angels, any being of light and love, a high vibration that is assisting in my evolution, to help me clear and heal whatever I need to heal that is safe for me to do today. I am open to it. I used to say that allows for gentle integration, which I still want, but because I want to get to the next side now, I'm a little bit like, okay, we can push it a little more. It's still to me pretty gentle. It doesn't feel it doesn't feel like too much, but it does feel like more, and it does feel like the message is stronger. Like, yeah, 4 dreams about judgments, they're like, okay, we need to push past this here. This is a block. We gotta get past it. So if anybody has any information how I can clear this, I would greatly appreciate it. But so far that's what I'm doing. I think I will focus on it a little bit more, not be so laissez-faire about it. I know I was still judgmental because I was looking at Love Island UK and I had some words and I was like, after I said the things, I was like, oh, I know what it feels to be in that position. I know what it is to be young and figuring yourself out and what love is. I know. But I still haven't figured it out. At least they were being vulnerable and trying to find out, on TV. A lot of people learn that way too. So God bless them for doing that. But yeah, so I know I was still struggling with it because I had some thoughts before I caught myself. Anyways, let us begin our readings and enjoy our day, okay? The alchemy of relationship. Many of us do relationships the way we play poker. I'll put on my glasses, y'all, Some days I can see really clearly. Today is the day I think I can see well, but still I'm wearing my glasses, so it's even more clear, okay? Okay. The alchemy of relationship. Many of us do relationships the way we play poker. We do everything possible to get the upper hand. And if that fails, we bluff. We pretend to hold cards we don't have. We cheat, we lie. And while this is a model for many a relationship in our postmodern era, it is not the model for sacred relationship as described within the manuscript. Let me be very upfront here. Sacred relationship is not for everyone. In fact, I suspect that there are far fewer persons capable or even willing to undertake it than there are those who prefer to play emotional card games. I would like to do the sacred relationship. I think that's what I would like to experience. This type of relationship demands utmost honesty, both with oneself and with one's partner. Instead of hiding our cards, we lay them all out on the table. All our hopes, all our fears, all our petty and jealous thoughts, all our connivings, all of it gets laid out in the clear light of awareness for our partner to see. And he or she must do the same. It will not work if there are back doors unlocked with mental escape in mind. It will not work if both partners are not absolutely impeccably honest with each other. Hold on, I have to stop the beeping. 1 second, okay? Okay, let's continue. And the reason for this radical type of honesty is that without it, the alchemy of relationship cannot take place. Now, this may be a new term to many, even students of internal alchemy, since the dynamics of intimate relationship are rarely discussed in the four major alchemical streams: Egyptian, Taoist, Yoga Tantra, and Buddhist Tantra. But I think it might be good to define what I mean here and to lay some type of foundation. Like all types of alchemy, this type of work is about changing one form into another. The form in this case is the interdynamics that have become habituated between two people. After a while, people tend to get into ruts. The liveliness that existed at the beginning of the relationship begins to fade. Both people become more or less unconscious. The harsh reality is that it takes continual vigilance and effort to keep a relationship conscious and alive. Many relationships drop by the wayside because the partners are either unwilling or unable to make the efforts required to sustain them. Instead of experiencing the newness of each moment within the relationship, a kind of dullness seeps in over time. What used to be exciting is now boring. And worse, a kind of psychological and emotional lethargy sets in, and both partners succumb to the dulling effects of unconsciousness. This type of unconsciousness is a death knell to psychological awareness and insight. And although it is rarely mentioned, this type of unconsciousness has a negative effect on one's spiritual life as well. So the form that needs to be changed into a relationship is literally the form of interactions that habitually take place between two partners. Like all types of alchemy, there must be a container for the reactions to occur. In this case, it is the container of safety and appreciation that provides the reservoir for transformation. If there is a lack of safety or appreciation, this type of alchemy cannot be undertaken. And if you have decided you wish to try this type of alchemy in your relationship, I suggest you do an analysis first. Honestly assess if you feel safety and appreciation in your relationship. If you don't, you will be wasting your time trying to undertake this type of alchemy with your current partner. I suggest you focus your efforts instead on the solitary practices mentioned in the manuscript. If you still want to give it a try, get your partner to talk about these feelings of danger and lack of appreciation that you are feeling. Only if and when they get resolved should you consider taking this type of alchemy. So now we have two of the three elements needed for alchemy: something to be transformed, the habitual patterns of interaction, and the container, the safety net, if you will, of the relationship itself. The third element is needed, and that is, of course, energy to drive the reaction. There is usually plenty of energy in relationships in the form of neurotic patterns, hopes, fears, and desires. We'll get to those in a moment, but for now, I want to talk about steel. Our psychological selves are much like swords made of steel alloys. They have been forged in the hot, searing foundry of our childhood. In the formative pressures of our early experiences, it is this early period of life that bonds the elements of our psyches together. Unlike steel, this was done under immense heat and pressure. Some of us were abused by overbearing or downright hostile or even destructive parents. Some of us were left to our own devices without any kind of support or guidance. And every kind of parental-child relationship falls into these two polarities. The possibilities of childhood pressures are virtually endless. And so too are the psychological alloys that result from this type of experience. There is a lot to talk about the child within in many personal growth groups. And while there's certainly value in making contact with your younger self, it is not always pretty. Our cultural myth that childhood is a time of innocence, a time in which everything is right with the world. For some children, this is true. For many, it is definitely not. I remember being at a fellow therapist's house for a party quite a few years ago. Most of the adults were practicing therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, and several clinical social workers. I had just plopped myself in an oversized sofa and sipping my iced tea. I noticed a remarkable event. One of the therapists had brought his son and his son's best friend to the party. It was clear that the two boys were buds. They were playing some kind of card game and respectfully giving each other a turn. There were no attempts at cheating, and they seemed to be in a bubble of camaraderie. Then the boy's father came into the room and asked both kids if they needed anything. They both looked up, cherub faces, and smiled. No, they said, in the cutest little boy voices. The father patted his son on the back, and as he walked off, he nonchalantly patted his son's friend on the back as well. For a moment, his son looked at the incident in abject horror. He could see that you could see that he could not believe his eyes. And then, as his father turned the corner into the other room, his son pulled back and hit his best friend in the face. This was not childhood innocence. This was childhood rage. He was not willing to share affections from his father, not even with his best friend. This type of jealousy is typical of higher mammals, and we are, for all our self-righteous, self-congratulatory delusions, still mammals. No matter how high we get spiritually, we will, for as long as we live, share traits with our mammalian brothers and sisters. The inner life of a child is often far different than those around him or her imagine it to be. Surrounded by both dangers and opportunities, the psychological life of a child is directly shaped by how he or she chooses to deal with them. Whether it is something as life-threatening as a deranged parent or child molester, or seemingly innocuous as whom to go to the prom with, does not in some ways matter. While the impact of fighting for one's life may very well imprint a child's behavior well into adulthood, the little decisions of life, like who we socialize with or not, also have impact. All these major and minor decisions create internal psychological heat and pressure. The alloys of one's personality get bonded together or burned away. The sword has been tempered by the time we reach adulthood, and the alloy of our personalities has been set. Some of us emerge from this childhood foundry with sharp edges. Others of us are blunt. Some of us hold our edges, and some of us can never seem to hold anything. The thing about steel is that it tends to remain in its original form once it leaves the foundry. And one of the few things that can ever reconfigure the alloy is if the steel gets as hot as it did when it was first formed. In the alchemical work of sacred relationship, we voluntarily put ourselves back in the foundry. The heat that arises between two people when their neuroses rub against each other can get quite intense. If both people can find the courage to be radically honest with themselves and with each other in these searing moments, the psychological alloys can be altered. A new type of aliveness then enters the relationship, fueled by the energy of psychological truth. The thing is, most of us will do anything to avoid psychological heat. When we get uncomfortable, many of us get the hell out of Dodge. Now, for some of us, this means literally packing up and getting out of town, or at least out of sight. For some of us, it means that we are physically present, but no longer emotionally present. We numb up, we become automatons. We move and talk almost like normal, but we have retreated far, far inside. Others of us numb ourselves with alcohol or drugs, and some of us do it with televisions. We humans are, after all, quite clever and creative. We can find all sorts of ways to avoid facing ourselves. In fact, there are far too numerous for me to list here, but I suspect you get the idea. I guess the real question here is this: what do you do when you get psychologically too hot for your taste? What do you do when you are on the verge of feeling something that you don't want to feel? For those in sacred relationships, such feelings are a call to presence. It is a time to be radically honest and for both partners to express their true feelings, no matter how embarrassing or scary they might be. By speaking your truths to each other, an enlivening element enters the dynamic. Psychological honesty results in psychological insight. And with insight, there is hope of awareness, and with awareness, there can be change. This chapter is hardly a manual for the alchemy of relationship. It's mainly, I think, a warning. Magdalene alluded to this in the manuscript. She called it obscurations of flight. That sounds wonderfully exotic, doesn't it? Well, it isn't very exotic. Well, it isn't very exotic when the obscuration is clearly in your face. And it isn't very exotic feeling when the foundry of the relationship gets so hot that you feel you are dissolving, psychologically, that is. It takes courage and fortitude to stay in the foundry when the heat begins to weaken the stability of one's self-perceived image. Few of us care to look foolish, scared, petty, or jealous, and we will often go through elaborate means to hide these feelings from ourselves or others. But in sacred relationship, these feelings invariably float to the surface like mud that had been stirred up from the bottom of a barrel. The thing is to realize that this does not mean you are doing it. Sacred relationship, wrong. It means that you're probably doing it right. As Magdalene said in the manuscript, the power of the alchemy extrudes and pushes out the dross. This can be fascinating when the dross is being pushed out of your partner, but it is truly horrific when it extrudes out of you. What makes sacred relationships sacred is that it is truly a holy way of being. The root of the word holy actually means to make whole. So when we do something that creates wholeness, in this case, psychological wholeness, we are engaged in a sacred or holy act. In the crucible of mutual safety, honesty, and appreciation, it is possible to forge a new kind of self. The new self is psychologically more honest, more aware, and freer than its counterpart before entering the foundry of relationship. And like the phoenix that arises from its own ashes, this self has wings. It can fly places that it could only imagine before. There are mysteries here and treasures that await those who have the courage to enter the depths of themselves and their partners. It is not, as I said, for everyone. You will probably know if you are a likely candidate because you will feel it in your soul, in your heart. If you enter this path, know that there are no manuals. There is precious little guidance out there. The path to spirituality has traditionally been one of solitude. And while times of solitude may be necessary for those in sacred relationship, something has turned. They agreed to walk the path to godhood together, side by side, through both heaven and hell, through the brilliant summits where all things are suddenly crystal clear, and through the dark valley of psychological death, where it is hard to even see one's foot in front of the other. And yet, through the darkness of not knowing, a deep primordial force begins to rise up. It requires an unusual type of Holy Trinity. three things for it to do its most holy task: mutual safety, psychological honesty, and appreciation of the beloved. Have a good journey. Note to the reader: there is an implicit danger in writing about such things as sacred relationship. For one, some people might assume that the writer, moi, is an expert on such matters. I assure you that I am not, and I wish to place into written record this fact. I have found myself several times running from the heat of the foundry of relationship. For, as I mentioned earlier, when the emotional and psychic heat of sacred relationship gets really hot, there is a tendency to feel that oneself is being obliterated. Of course, what is being obliterated, or at the very least challenged, is our own neurosis, not our existence, which is what it feels like. Our neurotic habits are tenacious and they don't give up easily. My experience is that they often fight to the death, so to speak, rather than fade gracefully into the past. But that is just my personal experience, and I don't wish to imply that this might be your experience as well. The art of sacred relationship, I believe, is learning how to be in the heat of transformation and not automatically run from it. I also think that this way of being in relationship with another is one of the most challenging and rewarding things I have ever asked of myself. Because this way of relationship is so dynamic and life-changing, I think the entrance into this path should have a warning sign. So here it is, warning. Enter this path with sobriety and abandon. Know that those who enter this path will never be the same, nor will you. I was redundant here for those of you who think you are an exception to everyone else. Okay. And the next section is One Woman's Story by Judy Style. In this story of one woman is the story of every woman. May you find the pathway into the spirit by which it was written. Mary Magdalene. I just love that. Poem's introduction to One Woman's Story. We'll read that tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll read Tom's introduction and Judy's preface. Friday. That's all for today, folks. It seems exciting. So we know to have a sacred relationship, one, there has to be safety and appreciation, psychological honesty, and appreciation of the beloved. So, 3 parts. Anyways, so that's kind of cool. So that's it for today. I hope you have a great week or the great rest of your week. I hope you know you are loved, that you're gentle with yourself, that you take time to understand why you feel the things you do, feel the way you do, and do the things you do. And the more you're better able to understand, accept yourself, the more you're able to love yourself, the more you're able to be that to the world. I say that because I am in my own process of this, as you guys know. As I was expressing earlier, I have to move through judgments. I'm judgmental. I need to clear this and be more loving and accepting to myself and others. So working on that. So I hope you guys take time with yourselves too. Anyways, you guys want to share any suggestions to how I can progress in that way, or how you got past it, or any thoughts on dreams, and dreams showing us our next steps and what we need to heal, what we need to know? Let me know. I found out from a dream that my digestion is slow. I need to speed up my digestion. I looked up how to do that. Especially, I have to increase my whole grains, my water intake, and decrease spicy foods and fizzy drinks. I love spicy food and fizzy drinks, y'all. But I gotta do that in order to make sure my body's okay. And it's so weird that the dream let me know that, because I do have acid reflux. So nothing gets past. Your guides, your angels, your teachers, your masters, ascended masters, meaning teachers, your divine team, okay, are looking after every aspect of your being and how to heal every aspect of your being. I find this fascinating that the dreams let us know all these things. So I'm really paying more attention to my dreams. It's been quite revealing, but even more so now that I know that this really is one of the ways they try to communicate with us in order for us to progress physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Like on every level, they're trying to get us there. Anyways, I hope you have a great rest of the week, a great day. If you have any insights to share with me, please, I want to hear. Thank you. Have a